Today we're going to talk about saving money and living in the UAE. Now I'm not going to tell you save, save, save. There's going to be a little twist to this video. Continue watching till the end to find out. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Kenneth and you're watching Boss Your Money. If you find this video informative and valuable, please don't forget to hit the like button because that really does help me out a lot. And if you do want to see more personal finance videos, especially focused around the UAE residents, then please don't forget to subscribe as well. Let's get straight to the video. Alright, so here's the thing. You might have heard a lot of people tell you to save money. I'm not one of those people. I really don't believe that there is a lot of value in just saving money. And that is because of inflation. Now, I'm not going to get too much in detail about inflation, but essentially what it means is that if you can buy something for 10 dirhams today, you cannot afford the same item for the same 10 dirhams in a year or two. And that's because what that item costs in a year or two is going to be higher than what it costs now. That's essentially what inflation is. So if you are saving up 10 dirhams today to buy a house, that house might not be worth just 10 dirhams tomorrow. So you might have to actually need more money to invest in the same item in a few years. So then the question arises, do you need to save money at all? And the answer is yes, absolutely you need to save money. Because the first and foremost thing that you need to know about having a little bit of savings is that that's going to be your emergency fund. You need to have some money set aside that can help you out when you are in an emergency. This is very important because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, and then when an emergency hits, that is what starts the debt snowball for them because they have to borrow to fund that emergency, and all of a sudden they are lost. That emergency can be anything from medical reasons to job loss or whatever. So to have a ceiling on your emergency funds, I would say if you have saved up in cash about 6 months of your salary, that should be more than sufficient. But on the other hand, if you don't have an emergency fund, that doesn't mean that all of your savings should go to the emergency fund funding. What I would recommend is that 50% of your savings can go towards the emergency fund and 50% of your remaining savings can go towards an investment. So that's the first reason you need to have savings. Now, where to park your emergency funds? I have two different videos on that. One is all about national bonds and the other one is all about bank accounts that I believe give you good benefits. If you haven't seen those, I will link them up in the cards above or in the description below. The second reason that you need to start saving is for a future upcoming investment. Please don't think that buying a car is an investment because it's a depreciating item. I wouldn't call it a depreciating asset because it's absolutely not an asset. So buying a car does not fall under the category of saving up to invest in the near future. What I'm talking about is if you need to save up for a down payment for a house, or if you need to save up to start up a business and you need upfront capital. Things like that are what I'm talking about when I'm talking about saving for the near future investment. Now, this can also be set aside in one of those accounts or national bonds that I talked about because they are short term, or you can consider investing it in other short term investments. Now, it all depends on the time frame. If you budgeted and you think that you need some money towards your down payment on your house in the next 6 months, then I would highly recommend just sticking to a normal bank account. If you think you need it in a year, I would recommend considering something like national bonds. But what if you need to save up for the next 5 years just to be able to put down a down payment on your house? Then in that case, I would highly recommend investing in something like Sarwa because a 5-year time frame is relatively long term and that can give you pretty decent rewards in the long term. Again, if you want to learn more about Sarwa, I will leave the entire Sarwa playlist linked on top. And if you want to learn a little bit more about real estate investing, I will link that video as well. You could also consider investments in assets like gold and silver for this purpose. Please remember that all of these things are subject to change from person to person. It is all relative and it is all subjective. So please research and understand what is best for you before you jump in. I have a lot of different videos on this channel that I think can help you out if you're interested. Now that that's out of the way and I've established the two reasons that I think that you need to save money, and when I'm talking about saving, it's different from investing, right? When I say apart from these two reasons, don't save money, that does not mean don't invest. Investing is different from saving, and therefore these are the two reasons that I believe you should actually save money. So how do you go about saving money when you live in the UAE? Yes, UAE can be quite expensive if you want it to be, but it can also be quite pocket friendly if you choose that path. So here are some of the things that you can do to reduce your expenses and increase your savings. Just for the purpose of this video and time, I'm going to divide this into 3 categories: food, shelter, and entertainment. So saving money with food is quite simple. There's not a lot to talk about it. Simplest and most effective way to save money on food is to cook at home and cook the right quantities. Don't overcook and waste food. Now, this is not just about money. It's always nice not to waste food. Don't waste food. Don't waste money. Cook as much as possible at home. And when you do go out for a meal, which is bound to happen, go to a restaurant that you can actually afford. Go to a restaurant that fits within your budget. Speaking of a budget, if you don't know how to budget, I will leave a link up there to my video on budgeting. Second part is housing, and this is one of my favorite parts when it comes to saving money in the UAE. And the reason I say it's interesting is because there's a couple of different ways you can actually save money when it comes to housing. When you find a house in the UAE, try to find a house where the building offers you a chiller-free option. That means you're not paying a separate fee for chiller, which is basically another word for the air conditioner. Trust me when I say this, you're going to save a lot of money just by not paying additional amounts for your AC bill. The second thing that you're going to want to do is consider the other expenses when it comes to choosing your house. Things like where you work, where your kids go to school, etc. make a huge difference when you calculate how much it's going to cost you to get your kids to school or get yourself to work. Those things make a huge difference when you actually calculate the extra costs that are involved. As an example, you might be able to get a 1-bedroom house for 30,000 dirhams a year, but you might also have to spend about 15,000 dirhams a year between your car services, your fuel bills, your kids' transportation, etc. So your actual cost might actually be 45,000, but if you are closer to your work or the school, then you might actually be only spending 35 to 40,000 instead. So keep that in mind and calculate the overall costs and not just the rent cost. Now, the third part when it comes to saving money in housing is actually to consider buying a house and living in it. A lot of people have told me that buying a house for 300,000-400,000, just an entry level house, is not worth it because it can depreciate. The property markets are not stable. Whatever it might be, this is not that video, we're not discussing that. But here's my point. If you're going to be staying here for the next 10 years paying 40,000 dirhams in rent, you're going to be paying 400,000 dirhams in rent. What if you just buy a house for 400,000 dirhams, and then if it goes up in value, well and good. If it goes down in value to 200,000, well, you're still not losing that 400,000 dirhams that you would be spending in rent. Of course, as I said, do your research and find out if this is the right option for you. These are just my thoughts and my opinions, and I'm just voicing it out so you can think for yourself and make a wise decision. Now, the third aspect is entertainment, and this is a very simple one. Everyone needs to be entertained. Don't be stuck in your house, so you do have to get out, have some fun, meet some friends, and so on. But that does not mean that you have to go to 5-star beach resorts and have staycations every single weekend. There are lots of different entertainment options for various different budgets. You can do anything from going to a beach resort and staying there for 5,000 dirhams a night to go to the park near your house for free. Go to the mall and enjoy a movie. Go out to a coffee shop, have a nice coffee. Or just take your car and go for a drive. Whatever it might be that interests you, make sure that it fits within your budget and have the entertainment that you deserve without having to break the bank. I hope you found value from this video. If you have and want to continue to learn more, check out these videos to learn a little bit more about personal finance. And please don't forget to smash the like button because that really does help me out a lot. And subscribe to the channel for more personal finance content, especially if you live in the UAE. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.